Today we're going to take a closer look at AMD, one of my favorite semiconductor companies in the market right now. And we're actually going to take a closer look at two individual news. The first one is a partnership and expansion of a very small segment for AMD right now, and that is the automotive segment. If we take a closer look at some charts from AMD's Financial Analyst Day, we can see how big this automotive opportunity is. They believe that in the next 5 years, the automotive market will be a total addressable market of roughly $27 billion. Just to keep things in perspective, when they did release this presentation, they mentioned that the gaming market at the current time was roughly $16 billion. So to me, that makes me very bullish for this kind of announcement, even though it's a small one at the moment. The second news we're going to take a closer look at is just some quick notes on when their upcoming CPU processors for the consumer market might be released. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, AMD is one of my favorite semiconductor companies. It's actually my number 2. Can you guess which one's my number 1?
I do want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and make sure to check out fool.com/Jose to get the top 10 stocks to buy right now.
So we can see AMD stock ended the day at $102, and it's been a crazy wild ride this past month or so. We can see AMD stock price is up 35%. I did do an overview of their earnings, so make sure to check out the video. I'll post it up here if you want to watch it later. I promise is a lot of great information in there. But with these kind of returns, I just want to take a step back. I do believe emotional investing is usually one of the biggest destroyers of a portfolio. And emotional investing works both ways. When stock market goes down, some people kind of oversell and don't have a plan of what to do. And the same thing happens, I want to say, in the other end. When stock market continues to go up pretty high, people start to get very confident and start to do things like leveraging and just don't have a plan. So I just want to say, even though things are looking good, always be prepared for the worst and always have a plan. I'm not saying this is the top. I'm not saying we already hit the bottom. I'm just saying be prepared and have a plan, because having a plan can overall help your overall investment career in the long term of things. So let's go back to the episode. Enough of me ranting about that. Here we can see on August 4th, AMD is collaborating with ECARX to kind of just bring immersive digital computing platform solutions for the next generation of electric vehicles. They do mention that ECARX, and I'm pretty sure I'm butchering that name, their digital cockpit will be powered by AMD's Ryzen's embedded V2000 series and AMD's Ryzen series GPUs. So for those not familiar with the V2000 processor, this is pretty much a CPU based on the Zen 2 architecture on 7nm process. And we should be familiar with their graphics solutions, which is the RX 6000 series. They do mention that the companies will work together on an in-vehicle computing platform for next generation electric vehicles, expected to be in mass production for global rollout in late 2023. So about a year from now. They do mention that the digital cockpit will launch with advanced features including driver information mode, heads-up display, rear seat entertainment, multiple displays, multi-zone voice recognitions, high-end gaming, and full 3D user experience. I do believe we're getting to that point where the car is no longer just a car. It's also going to be very similar to the cell phone, where it's going to have other features for entertainment within the car. So when you want to have those kind of high-end entertainments, you need some form of processor, you need some form of graphics power, and they're teaming up with AMD to bring those solutions. And if you are enjoying the episode, make sure to hit the thumbs up, as it helps me grow my overall audience, and I appreciate it so much. If you want to support a little bit more, make sure to subscribe using my link fool.com/Jose. And like I brought up at the beginning of this episode, this is a huge market opportunity for AMD, as they believe this is in the total addressable market of roughly $27 billion in the next 5 years. You know, I really wasn't too familiar with ECARX, so I had to go Google them. And ECARX seems to be a Chinese-based company, very small at the moment. They're serving about 12 auto brands, serving 8 tier 1 suppliers, and their tech is in more than 3.2 million cars. They do pretty much the whole concept to the cockpit. They actually work on the infotainment head unit, the digital cockpit. They also kind of work with the operating system and chipset solution. Here, obviously, they have chosen AMD to be certain parts of that chipset solution. They also have software stack, and here we can see a pretty cool image of their chips. ECARX is actually a SPAC company. It hasn't gone public, and not one I'm gonna take a closer look at. We've seen how SPACs have done in the past few kind of years, but they are expected to go public at the fourth quarter of 2022. too. So if anybody wants to be a little bit more in the solutions for the automobile industry, especially the semiconductor market, maybe this is one to take a closer eye on. So overall, this is a great move, not something that I expect the stock price to move or nothing to really move the earnings anytime soon. But again, it just opens up the opportunity of that optionality within the kind of automotive market for AMD. The second thing I want to take a closer look at is there are reports that AMD's Ryzen 7000 Zen 4 CPUs are going to be launching on September 15. So in a month or so, and this is actually going to be in Q3 of their financial revenue. So I'm super excited for this. The reason they believe they're going to launch in September 15th is because MSI, OEM of motherboards, and the reason they believe September 15th is going to be the release date of AMD's new processor is because MSI is releasing their motherboards on September 15th, which are meant for the Ryzen 7000 series. Now that, in my opinion, is something to get really excited about. And when they do come out, one thing I am going to be doing is taking a closer look at e-commerce sites, especially those that deal with computer parts, to see how the market is adopting to this new generation of Zen 4 processors. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.